to plan your day. The mountains are calling you out to play. Come on, we'll make you feel right at home. Good day, Vail. Good day, Vail. Let's see what lies in store for you. There's so many things to see and do. Summer, winter, spring or fall. You're home in the Rockies as it all. So gear up, get ready to plan your day. The ideas are brewing, you're on your way. The fun is waiting outside your door. Good day, Vail. Good day, Vail.
Hi there, I'm Cece Zach, and this is Good Day Vail, and I'm the host of this show. Today's episode is one that I know you will find thoroughly enjoyable as it relates to providing ways to give back to the community and helping develop professional women here in the Vail Valley. That being said, we have the president, Pam Elliot, of the Vail Valley Business Women's Association, as well as Becca Chapin, who is the programming director. And they're going to help us learn about Vvbw and all of the value it brings to this wonderful valley. Matter of fact, the organization is actually older than Beaver Creek and targets more than 15,000 professional women here within the valley. Who knew? So stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Good Day Vail.
Good day, Vail. Good day, Vail.
Hi there, I'm Cece Zach, and welcome to this episode of Good Day Vail. I am so excited to bring to you two extraordinary women who are going to talk about all things to do with developing women here in this valley professionally. So with that, Pam and Becca, thank you so much for being with us today here on Good Day Vail and joining us in the studio. And one of the things that I think is so important for all of our viewers to understand about our guests are, why Vail? You know, how long have you been here? What keeps you here? And Pam, why don't you start with that?
I moved to Denver in 1998 from Indiana because Colorado's better than Indiana. And I immediately fell in love with the mountains. I've always been a skier my whole life, so I immediately fell in love, and then I had back surgery, and a job was offering me, two companies had merged and a job offered me a package, so I said, I'm moving to the mountains, and I never looked back, and I never left, and I started in Summit County, and then I came over to Vail, and I love it here, and it will always be home.
And how long have you been here for?
2000.
So 23 years?
Yeah.
Wow, that really does calling it home.
Yeah.
And please tell the audience, you said that two companies merged and there was a professional opportunity for you, and this is the episode about developing professional women. So tell us about that role.
I am in the IT industry. So I came up and I started working at the hospital, and then I worked at Colorado Mountain College. And then I had a previous boss call me back to the oil field, to believe it or not. And I worked in the oil field, and I traveled all around the world for 6 years. And then I came back to work for All Mountain Technologies, where I have just grown in a small company. I was in the corporate world for so long that it was really refreshing to be in a small company. And now that I am the president of the company, it's a blessing every day to watch the people grow underneath me.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. We're going to get back to, you mentioned oil fields. I'm going to have to ask you a few questions about
Sure.
that. But Becca, tell us about Vail. How did you get here? How long have you been here?
Absolutely. So I think my story is pretty similar to most people that end up staying in the mountains. I moved out here totally on a whim. It was during COVID. I had a really professional job back in Florida. I owned my own home. My life was really great, and I just decided one day that I was going to up and move across the country. It was supposed to just be a 6-month sabbatical. So after the 6 months was up, when I was here for that first season, I was so in love with the valley, with everything that it had to offer, with the lifestyle, with the people, with skiing, and I just was like, I cannot leave. I cannot leave this place.
So I have to ask, were you a snow sports person before you came here?
This is a great question. So being from Florida, I had gone on a few family vacations. So I did know how to ski, by no means was I a good skier, but I did know how to ski, and I had very limited experience in the mountains. So I think for a lot of people back in Florida, they were probably so surprised that I'm still ending up here and am a mountain girl, because it was not seen for my future.
Well, Pam, I got to go back to the oil fields, right? You're stumping me on this one. You said you traveled all over the world. What was that role?
The role was North American IT director, to put it simply. And we had rigs from Canada all the way down to Mexico. And I would fly out to the offshore oil rigs. And there were projects to be done on the offshore oil rigs. So I would bring all the vendors together and get all the projects executed. And then I'd fly home for 30 days, and then I'd go to another rig and do the same thing over and over.
Wow. What is the biggest epiphany you have in that type of professional role? I mean, you're saying you're flying in 30 days out. I'm sure it's a little lonely. I mean, but what are the big epiphanies that you had about yourself professionally in that role?
Well, it's a very male-dominated role, right? So just some of the epiphanies is to hold your own and control the role that you're in, and just own it and act like you know what you're doing. Is really a big part of it. Just come in and be decisive and not be flim-flammy and do good things and make people's lives easier and I created relationships all over the world. I can fly to a lot of places now and have a place to stay. And then that's making that human connection is also key. For sure.
Wow, that experience and that skill must be extraordinary for your current company, All Mountain Technologies. Especially as we were talking about this, you had mentioned that the growth of your organization is happening extraordinarily fast. So are there any key skills and thoughts that you have that you brought from that very male-dominated role to All Mountain Technologies?
100%. Yeah, I mean, I learned a lot in those 6 years. I worked under some very dedicated and really influential people, and they taught me how to bring thought and have the overall picture on projects, where the business is going. So understanding the business, even though I'm only in the IT department, understanding the business as a whole and understanding all the different roles of the people really got me thinking, and it really opened my world up. And so having the big picture is my secret sauce, and that's where I score a lot of points with people, when I can talk business with them as well as talk IT with them.
Which, and as my viewers know, I'm very passionate about developing business women with my past roles and with healthcare business women organizations. And I think the key is that most women don't actually think that their role is the big picture.
Right.
So I'm really happy that you shared that because there are so many brilliant women out there that have that strategic capability, but don't necessarily think it's their role. So thank you for sharing that with us. So Becca, your story is a little different. So you came here, and again, as we were preparing, you had mentioned that you had an interim role when you got here just to kind of pay the bills, but then you decided to stay.
Yes.
So how did you find your current role? And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I definitely, when I made the decision to stay, I thought, okay, well, I really need to go back into a professional job again, because I had gone into the service industry for 6 months when I first moved out here, my first season. And I didn't know if establishing myself as a professional woman was going to be possible in the Valley. I had a lot of doubts about it. So I started interviewing for quite a few companies and landed on Puzzle HR, which is an absolutely unbelievable organization. So I am the regional sales manager that covers all of Colorado Mountain region, Northern Colorado, and Utah as well. And I had the conversation with, a lot of different companies about where I lived, and most of them wanted me to relocate. They didn't really see the opportunity here, but Puzzle HR did, and it has been an absolutely unbelievable experience. So I'm so thankful that they gave me the opportunity, and I'm happy that I was able to stay here, but I had to work at it to get it to happen.
You would also mention to me when you and I first talked that the Vail Valley Business Women's group had a lot to do with helping you. Can you just tell us briefly how they helped you get this role?
Absolutely. So Vail Valley Business Women has done so much for me. It has created a community of professional women that I wasn't sure existed out here in the Valley. It has given me a support system, it's given me a safety net, it's given me connections. There are just so many incredibly fascinating women out here that I wouldn't have known were even here if it wasn't for Vail Valley Business Women. So I think that there are probably a lot of women out there that potentially are going through what I went through in trying to find those connections and trying to have people that they can have professional conversations with, but also create that community with. And Vail Valley Business Women has been that solution for me.
Wow, you just you ended up. You should be marketing for Vvbw. But, and Pam, can you really tell us how you got involved? You're the president.
Yeah, so I'm always game for upping my leadership skills, and I was like, what am I waiting on? And I have a good friend, Kara, who says this is an amazing group and it's been around a long time, and I saw an email about they wanted a board of directors, and I'm like, I'm gonna go for it. And so I called and I said, I'll be on the board of directors, and they said, great, what do you wanna do? And I said, wow, I'll take care of the money. And so I was the treasurer for the first year, and then I started seeing some vision for it, and I started having great passion for all of the meetings and just the energy that it was creating. And I'm a big idea person, so I wanted to fulfill some of the visions that I had. So I was like, I'm going to run for president next year. And the president at the time was Sarah Siegel, and she was stepping down after an amazing 6 years there, getting us through COVID. And I recruited 8 wonderful women and I shared with them my vision and my passion, and they were like, I'm on board, and so here we are.
That's awesome, Pam. So hold that thought, because we're going to take a quick station break, and I'm going to ask all of our viewers to stay tuned, because we're going to help you learn about Vail Valley Business Women's Association and how you can become involved and the value it brings to you, like it does with Pam and with Becca. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Good day, Vail.
Good day, Vail. Good day, Vail.
Hi there, and welcome back to this episode of Good Day Vail, where we're focusing on the Vail Valley Business Women's Association. And I'm thrilled to have the president, Pam Elliot, as well as the head of programming, Becca Chapin, here with me today. So, ladies, where we left off, we were starting to talk about the association, but what I would really like to know is more of a personal philosophy around why you support women's leadership and professional development. I love Madeleine Albright's statement. She said, there's a cold place in hell for women who don't help other women. And that is the way that I have led my life. So I'm just curious about the two of you being so in tune with the organization and jumping in and taking your precious nighttime job to be able to manage this organization. Why do you do it? Pam, why don't you go first?
Being in a male-dominated career my whole life, and I have a super strong personality, and I just like pushing myself and seeing how far I can go. But the other thing I really like is mentoring others. When I learn something, I feel it's my job to push it down to others that can learn from that also. Because sometimes it's not obvious the lessons that you need to learn to be a leader and to rise up in your career. So every little bit of information that I can share, I do. And just being around strong-minded women is really my comfort zone.
I love that. Love that. What about you, Becca?
Yeah, so I am so blessed to have some very incredibly strong women in my life. From a family perspective and from a professional perspective. I truly can say that I would not be where I am today without the women that I have in my life. My major mentors have been women. From a family perspective, my mother, my aunts, all very strong business women. And to kind of what Pam's point was about how she loves to mentor and to lead and to bring up, I was that person that people would mentor and bring up. And so this is my opportunity to be able to give back and to share what I've been able to learn by supporting women, because it's had the biggest impact on my life has been strong women. So
it just you give me the warm fuzzies, and the Valley is so blessed to have two extraordinary people not only see the purpose but have that passion to take this to a whole nother level. And I think, Becca, your story about how the organization helped you find your new role is wonderful. Pam, maybe you could tell our viewers a little bit about the organization, about the mission, about the history of the organization. Be great for you to help us share with that. And please, if you've got notes, you go right ahead.
Yeah. So the mission of Vail Valley Business Women is dedicated to the advancement and future growth of professional women in the Vail Valley, and that is amazing because the valley is small. And we know that it's a little lopsided from the men to women ratio. So this is the organization for me.
Actually, let me just stop because I did a little data digging this morning. Eagle County is 47.3% women in the 2022 census, okay?
Oh, wow, nice.
And then I dug a little bit deeper to find out what of those are of professional age group. And so the number is 55,000 in Eagle County, and with the percentage of the professional women, you have a target of about 16,000 women from 18 to 50 here. So I just needed to add that in.
That's good to know.
Yeah,
we'll have to give those numbers to our membership.
That's exactly right.
We've been around since 1977. A lot of the long-term.
Oh, wait. That's older than Beaver Creek.
It is older than Beaver Creek. Yeah.
Woo! That's great.
And a lot of the ladies that are still here being leaders in the Valley have served on the board. So we want to encourage people, if you really want to sharpen your leadership skills, that being on the board of the nonprofit of Vvbw is a really great learning step to get you higher in your career. I've learned a ton here.
And I also want to interject, as the former global president of the Healthcare Business Women's Association, which I referenced earlier, that was the best job I ever had. Not only was it the most gratifying, so I was the global president and on the executive committee for 7 years, but the skills I developed and the experiences I had, I never would have had in my role. And it actually helped me to achieve roles higher than I ever thought possible, because I was able to use the experience with the nonprofit developing women as my examples in interviews and demonstrate the value I bring as a leader. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's you just articulated that.
Right.
Now, I know that you have a focus on events and other types of things. You want to share with the viewers about what you're currently doing, especially post-COVID, because I know COVID was a little challenging.
Yeah. So the second Wednesday of every month, we have an event. And sometimes the event is purely just networking and getting to know people and having some good food and drink and come hang out. Sometimes the events are speakers. We had Nadia from Beaver Creek last year. That was a fantastic meeting that we had. In the future, we have Amanda V coming from Vail Health, the COO. We also have Beth Howard has agreed to come speak with us, and we have a couple secret ones we haven't. And next Wednesday we have you, Cece.
Well, thank you. I'm in great company with all of those women. That's fantastic that they've committed to this, because I know, as being a former executive, I want to give back too. And so just moving into the Valley, this is a wonderful way for me to figure out where I can donate my skills and mentee and mentorship, and so it's great to see that those women are volunteering that as well. So what has the biggest successes been? Since the two of you, I'll tell our viewers, Pam, you've been with the organization for about 1 year and 7 months, and Becca, you've been with the organization for about 8 months. So tell us a little bit about some of the successes that you've had in that short tenure post-COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, COVID did change a lot of things, and there's a lot more people that are working remote, or jobs have just changed a little bit. So coming back into the social networking and bringing people together has been absolutely fantastic, I think, for a lot of people. So a lot of people have really come up to us in the last few months and expressed how dynamic they feel that the group is. There's a lot more young professionals like myself involved, which is really great and really fun. A lot more women kind of stepping outside of their comfort zones to come to meet new people, which is really wonderful.
Love hearing that.
Yeah.
I love stepping out of the comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's always new people to meet every single time, which is really wonderful. And just to be able to see and give women a place where they feel comfortable coming and sharing their goals. Some women have the most amazing goals out here in the Valley, and as Pam mentioned with some of our speakers that we have coming up, I mean, we have some really strong women speakers coming. So I didn't even know that there was so many fascinating people out here. So this organization has really brought that to my attention, which is really wonderful. So it's done a ton, and I think just really bringing people together and creating that community is beautiful.
So what would you say the value is that the organization has brought, especially post-COVID? Because I know there's a lot of organizations that have their ups and downs, and it's fabulous to see that you survived and you're thriving and growing exponentially. What value do you see the organization bringing to the community?
I think just the camaraderie, you know, doing business in the Valley, you run across everybody's family and husband and wife and understanding how those all interconnect and getting to know people on a personal level and understanding where people come from and what motivates them will only help you in business also.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, Pam, as the current leader, what does success look like for the organization?
Success would be, you know, obviously our membership needs to grow even more, you know, so success is we come to every meeting, we're putting on valuable information, we're the buzz of the community, we're recognizable when we say our name, so when we do ask the Beth Howards and the Amanda Viets of the world, they know who we are and they know we're respected and that we're making a positive impact on young women's lives.
Yeah.
And if you were to ask the viewers how they could get more involved to help support you, what does that look like? Becca, how does that look like to you?
Absolutely. So I think number one is going to be coming to the events. Our events are so much fun. And I think from a support standpoint, really the goal of the organization is not to come and expect it to be some sort of leads group, you know, where you come and you're expecting to just extract business, you know, within 30 minutes and not really create genuine connections. You have to come into it with the mentality of, I'm here to create these new friendships and these new, you know, a new social group essentially. So it really does support the community, and then we have the aspect of strengthening women overall, and then of course creating those long-term friendships. So I think if people can come to the events, A, and B, come in with the right mentality of wanting to create a stronger bond with others to support women in business and help them grow, I think that would be really huge.
I love that. I love that. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining Good Day Vail today. And I learned so much about Vvbw, and I am humbled to have met the two of you because your passion exudes. And hopefully that our viewers will see the value it brings to them and just to get involved, right?
Yeah.
It's all about getting involved.
Absolutely.
So for all of you out there, thank you so much for watching this episode of Good Day Vail about Vail Valley Business Women's Association. And please, please, please get involved. I know that you will find so many wonderful things that you will get from a gratification perspective by just coming to an event and then seeing where you fit in. Because there's always that opportunity for mentee-mentor relationships, and it all starts with just a handshake and a hello. So thank you for sticking with us. Good Day Vail. This is Cece Zach. Have a wonderful day.
On your way, the fun is waiting outside your door.